GM everyone, or good evening or good afternoon, depending on where you are on our planet. We're going to have a Risc0 tutorial on how to create proofs and verify it later on ZK Verify using ZK Verify.js. So Arman is here, our developer advocate. And we're going to go through certain steps. So we're going to follow the Risc0 tutorial to generate the proof, take public output, verification key, and of course the proof. Then we're going to use ZK Verify JS library, change the path so it directs to the proof. So there is like a line of code that will be changed. Also, we're going to change the call to the proof type, and it's always the one that you expect. So in this case, it will be Risc0. We're going to run Risc0. We're going to run, after that, we're going to run ZK Verify.js, where we made changes. And we're going to check if the proof is verified on chain, so you know your proof is good. So Arman is here today with us. And Arman is currently at Zugrama and will be there during the cryptography week, 10th February till 16th. So you can ask him everything about ZK Verify. And Zugrama is an offspring of Zuzalo, one of the events supported by Zuzalo. So it's great to see Zuzalo events like this popping around the world. Now it's in Kolkata in India. So yeah, Arman, can you show us how we can actually verify the proof generated?
Sure. So we'll start with it. Hi guys. Before moving into the whole tutorial side of things of how to generate a proof and then how to verify with ZK Verify.js, I guess you should understand a bit about how Risc0 works. So maybe it is good for you to go and have a check at their docs, understand the components of how Risc0 works, how to tweak the basically pre-compile and everything to make it work for you. And then you can jump on to this particular tutorial series where you can generate a proof and how to verify a proof with ZK Verify. Yes. So we'll start first with the quick start from the Risc0 docs. Okay. So if you go to the documentation at Risc0, you'll be able to find this quick start out here. Right. So if you haven't installed the Risc0 toolchain, you can just uh, try to install the Risc0 toolchain. There is something called as RZ up. So this is the toolkit installer to say, using which you can install the toolkit. And then after that, you just need to create a blank project, right? So you just need to run this particular command out here, and you will be able to generate a ZK a Risc0 project. Okay. And so the from now on, it's all basically exploring the Risc0 project and how to generate a proof with it, right? So I will share my VS Code with you guys. Yeah. To start it out, so once you run that particular command to generate a Risc0 project, you will be able to find all these particular files where you have host, where you have methods, right? So basically, the logic of your ZK VM circuit will happen in the main.rs file under the guest folder, right? So as you can see over here, it's just an input of U32 that we are reading, and then we are committing the same input out there, okay? So this is a very simple circuit. This is a by default circuit that's given by Risc0. So we are not tweaking anything in this, okay? Now, before moving away, so I will try to explain how do you integrate ZK Verify with Risc0, right? So Risc0 has multiple types of proof to say. One is the core proof, then it comes to like Groth16 proofs, which you can directly verify on chain. But when you're working with ZK Verify, make sure that we only support the core proofs, right? Groth16 proofs are there, but it will take more time for you to generate those proofs, right? So, and also one more thing is you can check over the docs at ZK Verify, right? So we have a separate documentation about Risc0 on how you can integrate Risc0 with ZK Verify, right? So here you can find the introduction, what all prerequisites you have, then how to build an application, everything like that. So to give a brief of what all steps you need to do, so you just need to copy this content that's given in the docs on the host cargo.tml, right? So I can go to the host folder over here and go to cargo.tml, and you can see like it's already there. I've already pasted it. So yeah, so you just need to do this. And the final thing that you need to do is over at host in the source file. So you'll have this whole content of this already pre-written by Risc0, so you don't need to change anything of this sort. The only thing you need to change is at the last of the script, you need to copy and paste something. That's also given in the docs, so you can just scroll down, and here you have the pre-written code. It's already in our docs. You just need to copy this thing up and just paste this particular thing over here. And after running this, you will be able to get a proof.json file, which will basically have contents of the proof, the verification key, as well as the public inputs. Okay, so I will also give an example of that. So here is the proof.json, which we already compiled with. So here you have the proof. So that's the whole proof that we have. And then we have the public inputs over here, right? So once you run that particular script, you can get the public inputs and the image ID. And if you are wondering how to run that script, how to generate your proof, so you can come back to the Risc0 documentation, and here you can check for real proof generation, you need to just run this command. That's it. That's a very straightforward process to generate a proof. And once you run this particular thing, you will have this proof.json file over here. It will have your proof, your public inputs, and your image ID. And with all these things, we're ready to use zkverify.js and to be able to verify your proof on zkverify, right? So the next thing you do is you just create a folder called as proof submission or anything of your sort, and we'll be using zkverify.js, right? So you need to install zkverify.js. So to do that, just give npm I zkverify.js, right? I've already done it, so I'm not doing it again. It will take some time. Yeah. So after doing it, you can follow out the tutorials that we have, right? So if you go to the GitHub organization of zkverify, over here you can find a new repository called as circom zkverify tutorial. You can come to this and you can basically check what all components are there. So for proof submission, you have this particular index.js file already over there, so you can try to play with this, right? And the only tweak that we are doing is in this particular statement, right? So as we are trying to verify a Risc0 proof, so we need to just copy paste the same code which is given over here, and so instead of verifying a groth16 proof over here, we'll be trying to verify a Risc0 proof, right? And then how, then if you're fond of like how we are getting all the data, so here we are importing the data from the proof that we have already got, right? Once you run the Risc0 compiler, you'll get those proofs, the JSON file. So you just use that particular JSON file to get the proof, to get the image ID and the public inputs. And one more thing you need to keep in mind is that we also need to give the version that we're using. So if you check which version I was trying to integrate is, like if you go to guest, so here you can see the version is 1.2, right? So here it's written version 1.2, right? So this is basically the core stuff on how to import the data from the proof.json and use it for execution. And once you have all these things built up, so you can listen to the zk verify events. So it's very easy using zk verify.js to listen to all those events, right? So we have included block events, we have finalized events, and we have attestation confirmed events, right? So this is the last step to say. So once you have attestations confirmed, then you can basically fetch the proof, the attestation proof to say, right? So that's basically the proof received, which will be useful for us to verify on chain, right? And how to track it out. So once you run this particular script, you will be able to generate 3 logs. One is once the transaction is included in the block, one is the transaction is finalized, and one when the attestation is confirmed, when the proof received is generated, right? And when you do any of this sort, you'll get a transaction hash, right? So you can just take this up and you can just pull up, and so we have an explorer as well. So you can just come to the explorer and you can just put this particular transaction hash, right? And you can just check what all things we have done, right? So as you can see, it's the same proof, and you can check the hash, you can check which particular palette we used. We used Risc0. You can check the whole proof, the version that we did, version 1.2, then the image ID, and also the public inputs, right? So this was the whole tutorial from starting reading the docs and implementing step by step, first generating the proofs, then converting into the proof.json file, which is Very simple. We have already predefined code. You just need to paste it up, and then once you have the proof.json, you need to import those uh, particular public outputs and the image ID zk verify.js, and then verify it using that, and you can get a transaction hash using which you can check if your particular proof was verified or not. Yeah, that's the kind of end-to-end tutorial for Risc0.
Wow, Arman, we managed to show everything in 10 minutes time. So yeah, it's great. Thank you so much for the workshop. Guys, any kind of suggestions, comments, we're here. We're in Discord, we're in ZK Verify Telegram channel, and we'll be watching your comments and any kind of critics, good or bad. We're here to improve your developer experience. Thank you all. Thank you, Arman. Thank you, all developers, for listening and joining us. And see you on Friday, where we're going to discuss hackathon ideas for ZK projects. Thank you all. Bye-bye.